This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So we're looking at some tech stocks there today. First of all, take a look here at NVDA, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, and Palantir. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation buy, selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here we have NVIDIA. Now you can see what a hell of a run this stock has had. Since we had that sell down, come all the way down here to this level at that 86.62. Really just a beaut of a run. Now you can see as we're going up here on these high levels, I've been pointing out negative divergence going on. See how we have a high and we keep getting this higher high, but we have a lower high. See this? Always watch that RSI. Now again, it'll play out. A lot of times, maybe not instant, but eventually it will play out. Okay, so now we lost the 21-day, and now it looks like we may possibly have a bottoming tail. We got to see how this shakes out. So what we're watching on the downside is we're going to be watching right there, that price channel. That's 167.97 level. Okay, so that's what we're going to be watching. Okay, so we're looking at the top of this candle, 167.97. Then we have the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 164.58, but we have that 50-day right above it at 165.61. That is going to be key. Now you can see how nice it held that 8-day all the way on up here, and when it lost it, 21-day caught it. But now, boom. Now look at this 8-day. See how this 8-day is rolling over? You cross over that 21-day. Any rally up is going to be fought with very strong resistance. Now remember, the earnings are coming out on the 27th. We've got to see how that shakes out. Now a lot of companies had good earnings, but the stock still sold off because we've had a hell of a run kind of a situation. So really what we want to watch is this 50-day. This is going to be very crucial on a closing basis, this 165.61 level. Now, if we start losing that, we have a lot of targets underneath. You got the 162 level. Then we come over to the top of this candle. We have 160.98. Come on top of that candle, we have 158.71 level. And then we work ourselves all the way down. You got 55.96. And then we have the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 149.26. And then we look at the top of that candle, 147.96. Gap and a fill all the way down here. Okay, so always watch that. Prepare for that in case it gets hammered. And then we have your 100-day 142 and then 137.41. Now, for me, I just say, now I have a long position in this, and I also my trading position that is long gone because we had this negative divergence. Now, I am looking to buy this up, and it would be great if it held a 50-day, then I'd be a buyer and take it at least back up to that 21-day, possibly the 8-day. Now, if it doesn't, say you lose that 50-day, well, then I just say I would take it all the way down, and I'd be looking for buying opportunities much lower. Okay, now we look at this RSI. You're only sitting at 45. That's got a long ways that can go. There's nowhere near that's oversold. Same way with the green over your red. This could come way down. Okay, so just always remember it. And I've been pointing out for the last couple of months here, watch this time of the year. Okay, that end of August, September, October area is not very good for stocks. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, so now on the upside, what we're looking to do is looking at today's high, 175.17. But we're really looking for that 21-day at 178.15, and then we're going to be looking right there at the 179.85 level. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for on a closing basis on the upside. The downside, that 50-day is going to be everything. We lose it. We just follow the candles down until we possibly hit that 100 SMA. Okay, let's take a look here now at Amazon. Here we have Amazon. All right, nice. All right. Okay. So we rallied up here very nice, and then we just gapped right on down on these earnings situation. So then it rallied up very nicely, but you notice that it could not hit that 236.53 level, and we put a topping tail situation, and it's been selling ever since. Now you can see where it's sold down, but see how that 50-day? Okay, so far now we're back above that 50-day, so that's going to be very crucial. So what you want to watch on the downside is watch that 50-day 222.01. Okay. Then if we lose that, we want to come to the bottom of that candle at 220.92, and then we'll come to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 219.05, and then we can start retesting this 213 level. But really what we're looking for is that 211. That's that 200-day, and then right below it, we have this 207.51. Now, if this does get hammered, and it possibly could, we want to look at the bottom of this candle, 197.85. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the top of that candle at 194.69, okay? Gap and fill. Now, if it keeps on going down, right there, you got 178.85, and then we have the fill at 176.78. Another gap another fill, and then we could come all the way down and retest that 161 level. Okay, but again, I always like to show you where it could possibly go. But right now, we're holding that 50-day. Let's see if we can hold it. Now, on the upside, this 21-day is going to be everything. You're watching 225.72. Then right above it, we have 226.46 level. That's what we need to get back above. So right now, we got a little ping pong action between the 50-day, the 200-day, and the 8-day. We get above that, then we just follow the candles right on up, 230 level. Then we come up there at 231.91, and then we can have a retest there at 234.08, and obviously 236.53 level. It's what you're aiming for, and then obviously your breakout at 242. But right now, this is going along with all tech, and she just looks like she's selling. So watch that 50-day, very, very crucial. If not, we could head right down toward that 200-day very, very easily. Now we look here and never got to an oversold condition, overbought condition, and then is coming right on down. But 48, that's not overbought or oversold. That has a plenty of room to go on the downside. The same way with the old MACD, you got plenty of room to the downside. So just be very, very careful in this time frame. All right, let's take a look here now at Meta. Here we have Meta. All right, one of my favorite trades, very, very nicely. Now you can see here how we had this really like a big time rally up. And then what we had this negative divergence. So we have a high, we have a lower high, we have a high, we have a higher high. So always watch that RSI. Now, it never got to like an overbought condition, but that doesn't matter. Always watch that green line. That's going to be very, very key. Now, we lost the 8-day, which is rolling over, and we lost the 21-day. So now we're looking to get this 50-day at 727.51. Now, it held it very, very nicely here in the past, so we got to respect it. Now, if you lose that 727.51 level, okay, then we come to the top of that candle. You're looking at that 708 level, and then we could come all the way down to this retest at that 691. Now, we lose that 691. We just bring this price channel right across. Okay, you're looking at 678, and then we have this 100-day at 659, 200-day at 641. Now, there's a lot of gaps. We start losing all of this. Look what we have here. So you look at the bottom, 621.03, there's your gap. And then we look to the top of this candle, you're looking at 606.97. And then we look here, we look at 570, there's your gap, and then we have another fill at 549. And then come down here, we have another gap, 516.52, and then we have another fill at 506. So there's a lot of gaps, a lot of fill. However, you have to lose the 50-day, the price channel, 100-day, and 200-day in order to do that, but who knows what's going to happen. So now, what we have is 47. That's not overbought. That's not oversold. That has a long way to go. The green just crossed over your red. As you can see, the momentum's there to the downside. So what you really want to watch right there is going to be that 50-day. Very key on a closing basis. Now, upside, you got to reclaim that 751, that 21-day simple moving average. If you can get above it, then we'll be looking for that 8-day at 770. Then obviously we'll be looking for the top of this candle at that 784 level, and then 796.25. That is going to be your big retest and your breakout. But right now, we got a little ping pong action between the old 50-day and the 21-day. So we got to see how this all going to shake out. So just watch that very, very closely. Okay, let's take a look here now at Microsoft. Here we have Microsoft. Right, let's see. All right, here we go. Now, you can see we lost the 8-day. Now, the 8-day is basically crossed over that 21-day. That's not good. You can see how we just had a really nice rally up, and then we just topped right out at that triple nickel, and now she's coming right on down. But we're still holding this 50-day, so you got to respect that 50-day at 504. Okay, we lose it, then you're going to come to that 500 flat level. Then all we do is you just bring these price channels right across. Okay, so you got that. What do we got there? We got what's the bottom of that? We got 500 flat. Okay, we come right down here to the bottom of that candle. You got 494. We come right to the bottom there. You're looking at 488 level. And then we come right to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at that 472 level. And then we can work yourself down to the 100-day at that 461 and even the 200-day at 439. Now, you got a huge, huge, huge gap right going on here. Okay, so right at the bottom is 424.90. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the top of that candle at 396.66. So gap and fill if we start losing all those key simple moving averages. All right. So you can see here how we just had this overbought condition, but just like I've been pointing out, these don't last forever. Okay. When it comes down hard. You lose that 50-day, and this is going to come crashing all the way down to the rest of this. Now, remember, this time of the year just started. Okay. So remember that. So any kind of a rally going up, that doesn't mean it's going to hold. That could come right on back on down again. Now, You're at 42. That's nowhere near, oversold. That's got a long way to go. The green is below your red. That's still momentum to the downside. So again, watch that key 50-day. Very, very key. Now you have to get back above this 8-day, that 518 level, and then we have to get right above that 519. Now you can see where that 8-day crossed over. So any kind of a rally up is going to be met by huge, huge resistance once we get up to that 8-day and that 200 and that 21 SMA. Okay, now obviously if we can get above it, well, then we can just start flying right back up here, 532 level. You got, what do we got there? 537 level, and then you can have your big retest at triple nickel. But just watch this 50-day right now. Very, very crucial. Any rally up, watch that 21-day and watch that 8-day. Now, if it holds this 50-day, then I would take a nice good trade on a closing basis. You could take a trade and it could run right back up to the 21-day. But don't be afraid to go and sell into it because you could always buy it back if it clears it. That's the key. Trade it right into it. And then again, now, if we lose that 50-day, she's going to come flying down pretty hard. Okay, let's take a look here now at Apple. Here we have Apple. Okay, now this is what we got. We had a sideways action. This was really like the worst of all the tech stocks as far as the trading goes. High, lower high situation coming all the way down. Then we just had like a sideways action, got a little bit of pop up to that 235 level, and now we lost that 8-day. It looks like that 8-day is rolling over. So on the upside, you have to reclaim that 230 level, and then the next level is going to be that 231, and then 235. You can get above that, then we'll come over to the top of that candle. You're looking at that 236. We come up there, 241. 244, and then we have a retest up there at 250 flat. Now, on the downside, this is what we want to watch. Is this 221, that's your 200 SMA, and then we have this 21, okay, and then we're going to dumb down right down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at that 216.58, okay, 216.58, and then right up here, 215.38. So gap, and then a fill, and then we have your 211, which is your 50-day, then we have your 100-day, then we have your retest at 201 level. Now, your RSI, you got to like an overbought condition, and now she's just rolling over. The same way with the MACD, it's just rolling over. There was no divergences, but again, this is basically, remember when the tech starts selling, okay, it takes it all of it at one shot. It doesn't really just pick out this one, and this time of the year. It just boom sells it right across. So bottom line on the upside, just watch that 8-day. You have to get back above that in order to retest the 235. On the downside, that 200-day, the 221, the 21 SMA here, okay, the gap, the fill, the 50-day, the 100-day, and then the retest down at 201 level. All right, let's take a look here now at Palantir. Here we have Palantir. Now, beautiful, beautiful run. But look at here, okay? Look what we got. We got to an overbought condition, and now she's just flying right on down. So we got as high as that 190, okay, which is, let me just see what's going on with this chart here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we got to that 190, and then you can see the series of lower lows and lower high. Never get involved with that until you can see a reversal. Okay, now the only good thing about it is we did fill this gap, which is good. And look at today, boom, all the way on down. Now, what you have to watch is this key 50 SMA, 152.56. That's going to be very key on a closing basis. You need to get back above that. If you can, then we'll look to today's high, 155.76, and then we look to yesterday's low at 156.90. So we have a gap, okay, and then we have this fill level. Then we can come over to the top of this candle, which will be your next level, is 160.39 level, okay, and then we'll be looking right there at that 168.18, your 21-day, and then we can come to the top of that candle, 172.30, and then we have your 8-day at 174.44 level. Okay, then we just follow the candles up all the way back to 190. Now, we have to reclaim this key 50-day. If not, what we're going to be looking for, now we have, so far we have a bottoming candle, but we've got a lot of trading day left. Okay, so what we're watching here on the downside is you want to watch right across, which is that bottom of that candle right there at that 145.06. That's going to be very, very key. Now, if that's lost, then we can go to today's low, which is 142.34 level. Then we can follow these candles, but realistically, you're going to be aiming right for that 100-day at that 134 level. Okay, so that's how you're going to be trading this. The 50-day is going to be everything. So when you see this selling off, Don't get involved and say, oh, this is going to go higher. This is going to go higher. It's not, okay? You got to wait until we get a reversal candle. Now, today with this bottoming tail, that might be it if we can close above the 50-day. Or, again, if it comes down lower, that's not it, and it's going to go down to that 100 SMA. So always, always remember. Now, if you can get it back above that 50-day, remember, we had today's high, the gap, yesterday's low, the fill, but we're really looking at getting towards that 168 level, that 21-day. Now, Palantir is a great company, no question about it, but this has nothing to do with it. This is just people taking profits this time of the year like they've been doing for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. And I've been doing this for 2.5 decades. Okay, it's the same shit, okay, year after year after year. So learn those patterns. Don't have an opinion that says, oh, this is just selling day. This is a great company. It's going right back up. It's going to 200, going to 250. It might. It's just not going to be doing that today. All right. So just always remember, when you see a pattern like this and you see this big red candles and you see everything falling right off, this is not a buying opportunity. Wait until you say, hey, I have a higher low in place. Okay, I have a red dog, which comes all the way down and then goes back up again like we had right here. Okay, see how we had that red candle? And then all of a sudden everybody gets bearish, candle turns green, and then we have that run up. All right, so always, always, always watch and trade these charts. They won't let you down. Charts don't lie. Okay, all it is lines on paper. That's it. It's lines on paper. It doesn't lie in any way. But be patient. Sit on your freaking hands. Wait and see if you can get back above this 50-day. If you can, then we can maybe take a trade to that 21-day. But as this is rolling up, that 21-day, now that is your selling situation. By the time it gets up there, this 8-day is going to roll over, and that's going to provide very, very strong resistance. Okay? So just always remember that. Now, the RSI, you got a long ways to go. You're only sitting at 39. That can have long ways to go. Your green crossed over your red. This is very, very bearish. Now, let's just see how this candle is going to shake out here the rest of the day. Okay, last one here. Let's just look at a Nasdaq chart. Here we have a Nasdaq chart. Now, at the end of the day, I usually show you the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. This is just the pure Nasdaq, all right? So here we have this 8-day. It was holding very nice. When it sold off, it came right down, held the 21-day. This is where we had that little sell-up. Basically, what this was on when Trump was going to put 35% tariffs on Canada. It bounced right back on up, but I've been pointing this out right here. See this? Okay, high, low, negative divergence. Okay, low, high. Watch it. Always, always, always watch it. A lot of times it doesn't play off today, but eventually it does play off. The same way when you start getting to these overbought conditions, it doesn't stay up here forever. You can have that nice run up, but when she sells, it sells extremely, extremely hard. So what we're watching is we're going to be watching today's low at that 29.05. But this is going to be your target. Is going to be that 26.56. That's your 50-day. And then right below it, you have 25.60. That is the retest of that candle right there. Okay? Very, very simple. Now, there's a gap that I want to show you, and it's right here. Okay? So you look at that 19.795. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the top of that candle at 19.643. Your gap and your fill, and then we can start hitting this 200-day at 19.199, and we have that 19.257. Right this level, it could be next. Again, that's only if that 50-day and that is lost on a closing basis. Then we have these big targets. But always watch the gaps and the fill. There's another one all the way down here. Okay, 18.475, 72. And top of the candle, 18.068. Gap and fill. Another one all the way down here. Okay. 16.642, gap, and then 16.410, gap, fill, okay? Gap, fill, gap, fill. A lot of stuff here if we start getting this hammered. But always watch that negative divergence. Now, this is only sitting at 49. That's got a long way to go to the bottom here. Same way with the MACD. There's no way this is even oversold. This was oversold. This was oversold. That was your buying opportunity, not up here. I've been telling you this, everybody, for at least 2 months here, that as this rolls on up here, this never lasts. Okay? Now, to get back above and back in the game again, you have to get above that 21.254 level, and then you have to get above that 21.518 level, and that's going to be very, very strong resistance to get back to the highs. Okay? So let's just see how this all shakes out. But if you got to sit on your hands, then just sit on your hands. Okay? It's better than losing money. That's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pick close, and we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look at all the indexes. Right now, they're all red, but it looks like they're coming back a little bit. We'll see how they close at the end of the day. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.